So today we're going to finish up what I started talking about on Tuesday. Do you have to pay $50,000 over list price in order to get your offer accepted in this very hot and competitive market across the country? And my key to that was no, you don't. You 100% don't. You know, number one, stay away from the Instagram ready houses, because of course those are going to get bid up. If you picture yourself, you know, taking a Pinterest photo in there, get the hell out, okay? Run. Your money is going to be on fire. Just walk away. If you walk in the house and you're like, ooh, what's that color on the wall? Stay. That is the house where you'll make some money. So today we're going to talk about how the realtor that you pick, or what I always get,
you said it right.
I get trolled so hard because I like saying realtor and they're like, it's realtor. And then I want to say realtor, which is not nice, but I just hate being trolled. Okay. Anyways, so realtor, how having the right realtor is important, and their mindset. Right? People, because of COVID and the competitiveness of the market and how long it's been like this, some people have endurance and some people break. And whatever your realtor is passing on is how you're going to feel.
Right, and how you're going to be perceived.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are two different kinds of realtors. There are, not to get too much into this, but there's buyer's agents and there's listing agents. And if you're buying a home, obviously you want to work with a buyer's agent. And just because you're working with someone to buy a home doesn't mean they fit that criteria.
Right.
Buyer's agents that are good, that are going to get your offer accepted, have a certain type of mindset.
It's like a long distance runner, right? Versus a sprinter. So a good buyer's agent understands that you're not necessarily going to find a house day one. A listing agent goes out to the property. They're a sprinter. They either get the listing or they don't. They're not in this long potential relationship, right?
Right. And a listing agent, buyers are coming to that listing agent. They're literally not even leaving the property. They can just sit there and the business is walking in the front door. Where
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say they're like a hot girl and one night stands, which is not appropriate, but it just all comes to them. They're not having a hard time.
No, they're not. And the buyer's agent is the person that's got to drive all day Saturday, all day Sunday. They're taking you to 10, 12, 14 houses. And then when they get done showing you all those properties, you figure out what you want to make an offer on, and they're writing that offer up. They're strategizing that. They're submitting it. They're on the phone communicating with the listing agent, pitching you to that person, trying to help get your offer accepted.
And they have a better idea of the market. So like, for instance, if I was looking for a realtor, I would not be using someone who predominantly did listings, because they're only going to know what they're selling. They're not going to have that same knowledge that you have when you take out buyers day in and day out.
Because they're seeing the inventory,
the real deal,
the inventory on a daily basis, and they're meeting the neighbors in the neighborhoods, and they're hearing about, oh, well, maybe I should list my house, and this is, you know, they're going to know what properties are coming up. They just have a completely different perspective. And unfortunately, these are the people that don't get promoted, right? Because they're the ones doing the work in the field. The listing agents are the people that you get the postcard in the mail, and they say, oh, I sold XYZ dollars in real estate and I'm the top and I'm number one. So you're getting all that marketing thinking, oh, this person's the best. Yet in reality, they're not actually doing the job you need them to do, and they don't have the mindset to get that job done in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they're great for listing houses.
Yes. They're marketers. They're marketers. They know how to market. They know how to market a property, sell a property, but a buyer's agent is a totally different animal.
Well, and you also have to be a little bit careful, because if someone says in their advertising they're a buyer's agent, it doesn't actually mean they're a good one, and it doesn't mean that they have any experience.
Surprise.
So it's really easy to go onto Zillow and you can look up any agent and it will show you all the sales within, like, I think it's actually lifetime, and it's not perfect, but most realtors at this point, they actually know how to update it so it's accurate. If I pulled up a realtor's profile and I saw no sales within the last 12 months, I would not call them in a billion years. I would be looking at, you know, what they've sold as a buyer's agent. Is it the price range I'm looking at, you know, and then I would have a conversation with them.
And I think that's really important to establish up front. Anytime you're interviewing anyone to do a job for you, whether it's you're having some complicated surgery, you're interviewing a doctor, or you're interviewing someone to take care of your kids, or you're, you know, talking to someone about whatever it is you're trying to do, treat your realtor the same way. Interview that person, because honestly, I think a lot of people, myself included in the past, you feel like, oh, this person, you know, I'm working for them. But in reality, they're working for you. They're going to make a commission on the sale. Figure out what's important to you, what's going to support your mindset, so that when you get into the competitive marketplace and you're going up against multiple offers, or you're putting in 3 or 4 offers before you get your home, what type of person, what type of mindset, what set of skills is going to help you have the endurance that you need to get into the home that you want.
Yeah. And I mean, having someone who has a positive, upbeat attitude is so important right now.
Huge.
Because just the way the world is in general, it's important, you know, and it's been rough on a lot of people. So you really want to make sure your agent, you know, looks at the bright side of things. Like, okay, well, we didn't get that one, but you know what? Let's go out tomorrow. What else have you seen? Hey, we didn't check out this house. I know the pictures are terrible, but we should go look at it for sure.
Yeah, and part 2, an agent that's going to think out of the box creatively is going to say to you, hey, listen, I know you really want this school district in this particular town, in this particular zip code, but let's actually research what it means to go to schools. I had a client this week who was looking in a very small box because she wanted her kids in this very specific high school district. This agent was so good, she said to the client, hey, listen, we can actually look in all these other areas, because this particular high school, you don't have to live in the zip code. When it comes to high school, they take in all these different zip codes. That client didn't know that. And so she had been burning all this time with another person, another agent who didn't have that information about the schools, and now she's in contract on a home.
Yeah. And I mean, it's about working with the best people that you can, who are also knowledgeable. And I would say do a little social media check. Julie's afraid. She knows I spend way too much time on TikTok. If you haven't seen us on TikTok, check out at Jennifer Beeston. And, you know, I was watching a video and I got so mad because the agent was dancing about the fact that her buyers got into contract and they were paying, you know, $30,000 over asking, and she wrote the best offer. And my question was, did you write the best offer? I mean, it's super easy to throw money at things. Like, yeah.
No, I agree.
And then you had another gal recently in San Francisco, right? Who had been writing offer after offer after offer and giving up all contingencies.
Yeah, that's very true. She was writing offer after offer. Her agent was advising her to give up her financing contingency and her appraisal contingency, and to just go in basically naked.
Yeah. So
take my money.
So contingencies basically mean that, like, you buy the house as long as it appraises. You buy the house as long as you get a loan. You know, like for instance, if you don't release your loan contingency, in many states they can't take your earnest money. It can vary state to state. So if you're going in without any contingencies, any money that you put up front, the seller has the right to take. And of course, talk to your realtor about what's applicable in your state. But you know, waiving these sorts of contingencies are incredibly risky, and very few people take the time to explain it.
So this particular buyer did not know that her contingencies had been waived, even though she signed the contract, the multiple page real estate contract, which is, you know, fine print.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys really want to read through this, and you want to talk to your realtor about it. If your realtor is too busy to talk to you about the contract and what you're signing, you need a different realtor. That is their job. Literally, key opening and contracts.
Yeah, and then part 2, the realtor should be in touch with your lender, asking your lender, how long should I put on the contract for appraisal contingency? How long do you need for a loan contingency? That's another sort of sign that you're working with a great realtor who's, you know, a great buyer's agent, is they're in contact with your lender early on in the process to say, you know, hey, we're structuring these offers. What are the time frames? Where are the weak spots with my client? What are ways that you can help me get this offer accepted? And
also we had another one in Austin, Texas. There's a lot of stuff going on there that's worth talking about, but it's because it's become such a hyper hot market. And we had one recently where the borrower was getting beat out, and then he came to us because he had heard about, you know, me through a friend. He came to us. I heard what was going on. He'd been writing offer after offer. He was like, I just need to do 40,000 over. I just need to do 40,000 over. And I was like, where are you getting this number? He's like, that's all the money I have that I can do over. And I was like, you're gonna liquidate your retirement and all of this to go over? And he's like, well, my realtor said I had to. Okay, no. So we got him a different realtor. He's in contract. He's not over asking. His appraisal just came in higher than his purchase price. Why? Because he had a professional realtor that understood the market and wasn't just trying to make it easy on themselves.
Yeah, 100%. I recommend making a checklist of questions, because when you're in the process to start buying, you want to interview more than one person. Make your checklist of questions. That way you stay on track. You know it's important to you. You fine tune what you're going to need to have the endurance and these strong sellers market and keep your mindset.
Well, and you have to like them, because there's a lot of people who don't like their realtors, and they're like, well, I've been working with them. I'm like, but do you like them? And they're like, no, he's kind of a dick. And I'm like, well, I bet you the seller's agents think that too.
Exactly.
And that's what you guys need to keep in mind, is that if you're working with someone that's like snarky, if I talk to an agent and I call you and I say, oh my God, they are so snarky, please don't do this to me. Odds are, when they call a listing agent, they're just as snarky. Do you think the listing agent wants to accept your offer so they can work with a snarky troll?
And that's another key tip about how you know you're working with a true buyer's agent. A true buyer's agent, not only are they charming, but they are networking with every other realtor in their area. They're getting to know their fellow realtors. They're talking to them. They're sharing information. They're asking them for information. So like when Susie J submits an offer to Mark R, Mark sees Susie's name on the contract and thinks, man, I really like her. She's professional. She knows what she's doing. I know she works with qualified clients. It's probably not going to be a problem getting this loan closed. That offer goes to the top of the stack because Susie J has a great reputation and she's taken the time to build her professional network.
Whereas if you're working with Bob, and Bob's like, he thinks he's the expert on everything, and he starts every call with, I've been in the industry for 45 years, you should take this offer. Everyone hangs up on Bob, myself included. I do this.
Hey Bob, I'm going through a tunnel right now. I think I'm gonna lose reception.
There are so many tunnels in my house. It's out of control. I work from home, but God, there's a lot of tunnels here. So the keynote, I know we went long, but get a buyer's agent, please. Get someone positive. If you're working with someone who's negative and depressed, guess what you're gonna be? Negative and depressed. And then guess what your lender's gonna be? Yelling at you to dump them because they don't want to be negative and depressed.
Right.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow with we don't know what.
Bye.